Beep, 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 beep. Welcome to the Court of the Edijester. How are we, good people? Please do become a warrior teacher. Come and join us and help us continue the fight and uphold free speech, the enlightenment, and everything that matters. Because that's going to be so important in the next 10 years. Do come and join us. It's a revolution. We're on our way. There's things happening, and it's going to be about how we can be in the world and help other people as well in these terribly confused times in some cases. So other than that, right, I've got an important one here from the Free Speech Union. Buy me a coffee, like, subscribe, do it, like, helps with the algorithm. This is about a tribunal. There was a teacher who blew the whistle on a primary school that was affirming the gender of children of 8 and 9 years old. We know that harms every other child in the school, and that the idea of trans ideation in a child, the minute the child says I'm trans, it's safeguarding all the way with a whiplash that will make sure everybody involved knows how dangerous the idea of the trans child is. But this is really interesting in that the Free Speech Union are reporting on March 26th on this one. And this is fascinating. Teachers' Trans Row Employment Tribunal collapses over anti-Tory slurs. Now, from what I can gather, the thing had been running for 6 days, right? And they were sort of on their way in their deliberations. Although you would think after Cass, this was a slam dunk, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? And that the people that are involved, i.e. the people that treated this individual so badly, would just go, okay, hands up, we got it wrong, and pay up. Apparently not. A tribunal which was hearing claims that a teacher was sacked for challenging her school's transgender policy has collapsed after a member made anti-conservative slurs and showed significant prejudice against Christians. For the love of God! That wasn't me being funny. As reported by The Times, all 3 members of the tribunal in Nottingham, including the judge, have recused themselves in an effort to avoid a perception of bias against the teacher, who's said to have raised concerns about a socially transitioning 8-year-old. A socially transitioning 8-year-old. Where the hell are the social services? Oh. The report continues. The rare move by the tribunal's judge, Victorian Butler, and members Javed Akhtar and Jed Perkus came after the discovery of social media comments alleged to advocate religious discrimination. Perkus, a non-legal member of the Nottingham Tribunal hearing, had described himself online as a socialist and a trade unionist. On his social media accounts, which have now been made private, Perkus responded to the question, what's a good collective noun for Tories, by saying a tumour of Tories, and then subsequently as a cesspit of Tories. I've got no problem with him doing that. If you want to say that, say it. It's quite funny. A tumour of Tories. It's like me when I always say it's a gossip of gays and a legion of lesbians, right? So what? Well, it's probably a good idea if you're not a sitting judge or magistrate, you know? In another comment on Twitter, Perkus complained that his social media timelines were clogged up with right-wing nut jobs. These people are unconscionable. Bloody lunatic left. And responding to a comment that only atheists should be in public office, Perkus said, damn right, you won't catch us killing in the name of our non-God. For the love of all that's holy. When this guy became a magistrate, did nobody do their due diligence? You know, I wouldn't want to go and be a magistrate, right? Because I insult everyone all the time about everything. I think everything's funny, and I'll quite happily call you a twat to your face, right? So what have you applied for? I've applied to be a magistrate, okay? Are you the Edijester? Yes. Kindly get off the premises. I would want to be a magistrate. But, and here's the thing, I might be the Edijester, I might be the head warrior of the Warrior Teacher Programme. That doesn't mean that I am not able to maintain professionalism and stick to the law. Seems to me that this lot couldn't, right? Interesting, isn't it? Referring to another commentator on the social media site who had said that Christians were worse than woke, Perkus responded, if they are so effing super, how come there is so much shit going on in the world? Perkus had also liked posts questioning the existence of counterculture, which alt-right cranks keep bleating about. This is a full-on woke nut job as a magistrate. An ideological magistrate. This is evidence of capture of the judiciary once again. But they've recused themselves. After Perkus's comments came to light, Pavel Stroilov, the lawyer for the teacher, made an application for a recusal. He called the panel to assess the posts, from an assumed standpoint of a fair-minded and informed observer. That observer needs to consider whether there is a possibility of bias, including subconscious bias. Well, I'm not particularly interested in the idea of subconscious bias. It's nonsense. But this guy isn't biased. He's blatantly ideological. It's the nice words in it again. Right, what they should have done is get out. You're a left-leaning lunatic. Get out. Not left-leaning. He's right out there. He's right at the far end of the left, isn't he? With the dildo bum piece of doom up his backside. Stroloff argued that it would not be sufficient only for Perkus to step down, since the other two judges had presided over the trial together for more than 6 days, and would be perceived as influenced by his view of the case. Absolutely right. In agreeing with that argument, the tribunal acknowledged that doubt would arise in the mind of a fair-minded and informed observer as to their impartiality in the case. The teacher, who has been anonymised to protect the identity of one of the pupils at the school, is suing Nottinghamshire County Council and one of its primary schools for victimisation for whistleblowing, unfair dismissal and discrimination on the grounds of her Christian belief. This individual, this lady, and I imagine, you look at people that are born-again Christians, people that care deeply about their faith, people like, for example, Miriam Cates. Now, I have no doubt in my mind that Miriam and I could sit having lunch and tear absolute chunks out of each other, because she's got views that I would have bore and I've got views that she would have bore. So what? It's got nothing to do with it. This individual, who happens to be a Christian and is deeply religious, called a safeguarding event when a child identified as somebody with a mental health condition which can lead to them being sterilised, mutilated and butchered. That's a massive safeguarding issue. She raised it. The school threw its toys out the pram and shut itself. And now they've ended up in a tribunal which has had to be closed because 3 of the judges have been influenced by one of their lay magistrates who happens to be a hard left nutter. There's a film in there. Like, one of those gentle films like Canada Girl or Educating Rita. What would we call it? We have to find a hard left nutter. Well, I don't know what we call it. The Tribunal. That's what you call it, isn't it? There's a film in this. How on earth was she ever to get a fair hearing if this individual, is unable to distinguish between the ideological and insane beliefs that they hold and their duty as a magistrate? Don't you think it's an interesting case? I do. And I do wish her all the best. I hope that the Employment Tribunal gets back underway and that the Nottinghamshire school that treated her so appallingly because she raised a very real safeguarding issue about a child in distress who had adopted a fake identity that had been pushed by lunatics in the LGBTQ bloody community. And she did so, and it was the right thing to do. And they went for her. These people are absolutely bloody deranged. Absolutely deranged. So I think this is a case that's very important because she needs to win her case so that it is made clear that any child under 18 who adopts a trans identity in school is a safeguarding red flag. And once we get that, things will start to move forward. And after that, as usual, I want world peace. At any rate, you lot, buzz off and do something. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.